If you were to play on this team, where would you be on the depth chart at linebacker?
Last. I think I would try hard, but our players now have a lot more ability than I have, and I think I might be one of those players that really cared about the team and would do what was asked or anything else that would help the team, but I don't think I'd see the field with our current team.
Would you be situational at all? Any kick coverage, anything?
Maybe if we were ahead by like 35 or something with a minute to play, I might get in the game. Maybe a kickoff cover guy, something like that.
It's another short week, another Friday game. Do you like Friday games?
You know, I like them from one perspective. Part of going independent and part of what we're doing here is for exposure. And last week, 3 times the amount of people saw our game against Central Florida than the previous week against Utah. And so from that perspective, it's great.
Especially with the result, that's great that more people saw the Central
Yeah,
Florida.
and that adds, that comes with it, with the exposure. Hopefully you're playing at a level that promotes the right kind of vision of your program.
A lot has changed since last year's Utah State game. Do you remember the end of that game, what was going through your mind as you then made some coaching decisions that really helped turn the season around?
Yeah, I remember that I felt bad for our players. I saw their disappointment, I saw their frustration, I saw them not performing to a level that they would hope to, and I didn't feel like I was doing enough. I was watching, but I wasn't coaching, and toward the end of that game, it was just when I made the decision that I needed to coach more, I needed to be with them. Not really in relation to any other personnel, coaches, etc. I just felt like I had to be more involved.
Was that something you thought of then during the game? Still, while it was still going on, you thought I need to...
At the end of the game.
Yeah. Between that loss last year and Utah just a couple weeks ago, is one loss, does it sting more than another one? Or?
No, they all sting, especially when you care as much for the program and the players as I do, and especially when you have a philosophy that you believe, and I believe that the coaches play or the players play as they're prepared to play. So I take it personally from a responsibility standpoint, and that's hard. And I learn a lot from the losses more than the wins. But anytime the kids aren't successful, it's hard.
Now that you're independent, you've put a lot of emphasis on winning a state championship because
Yeah.
you can't win a conference championship.
Yeah.
Last year you lost to both teams.
Yeah.
This year you've already lost to Utah.
Yeah.
Do you feel that this game then is more important because it's a chance to get a win against an in-state team?
It's important because, again, I like the thought of when you play head-to-head against the teams in the state, I like the chance for that to be demonstrated that you are the better of the two. And I try to take each game independently, and I try to put ones past that have already been passed. We have a wall out there of state championships that is full, and it's just an important thing, I think, to maintain that credibility within the state before you look outward. So it's an important game, but because it's an in-state game doesn't mean we try harder. It just means there's a little bit more writing on it.
Do you like what Gary Anderson's done with Utah State? He's made them more competitive, and now there's more. The three teams are a lot closer together.
I like Utah State. I like Logan as a place. I like the agricultural base. I think Coach Anderson has brought in the right coaches, the right schemes, the right players, and they're on the verge of just, I think, really turning their program, and so I give him a lot of credit for that, and I think he does a really good job.
One of your opportunities as an independent team is to play a lot of other teams, but you've also wanted these long series with Utah State and the Boise State one that was announced on Wednesday. So where do you find a good...
I like the balance, and I like a regional balance against intriguing games. And Utah is an intriguing game. Utah State is an intriguing game. Boise State is an intriguing game. So if you don't have to travel very far and there are quality opponents to play with a special interest, it makes a lot of sense.
I want to follow up with something you said Monday. You were talking about how you prepare your poll on Sunday morning before your primary lesson. What age group do you teach in primary?
9-year-olds.
9-year-olds?
Yeah, since I've been the head coach, I had the kids that are just preparing to go on missions, you know, the seniors in high school. I had them for 5 years, and it was just a phenomenal experience. But now I'm in primary, and I have the 9-year-olds, and they're really smart kids, and it's fun to be able to have a time set apart just to do personal study as well. And so in working through the Bible, the New Testament and the Old Testament, and then to reteach all the stories again, it's great because I have little kids at home, and so it works out really well.
How old are your kids again?
My kids now are more. Cutter's going to be 12, so he's 11. I have a 9-year-old, and I have an 8-year-old.
Okay. Cutter will be getting the priesthood
Pretty soon, yeah.
Are you an object lesson kind of primary teacher? You drawing pictures? Or?
Absolutely. I'm metaphorical and parabolical all the way. I'm big picture and object lesson oriented. And I think those, at least what's been proven, is those are one of the best facilitators of long-term memories, when you can tell a story and tie it to an object. And so that's what I try to do.
So is primary teacher the perfect calling for a football head coach?
It is. At BYU. Because church sometimes is like a Cougar Club meeting, and I'm not so concerned about football on Sunday. And luckily my neighbors in my ward are really understanding that way. But in sacrament meeting, we arrive late, we sit in the back, trying to time it to just make it easier for everyone not to have that possibility of having to talk football. Teach my primary lesson, go to sharing time, do the singing, and then out with the kids. So it works pretty well.
The 9-year-olds aren't interested in talking football.
Well, they're not, but I hear what their parents have to say, through their kids. And so we have some boundaries to draw, and it's interesting. I try not to have negative impact or negative views of what my neighbors might say, but when their kids are saying it, I think that's where it's coming from. And Holly and I laugh about it as much as we can, but then sometimes it hurts our feelings.
So since you're used to teaching kids on Sundays in primary, you're probably the great family home evening teacher then on Monday nights, yeah?
You know, Holly does a great job with that, because our kids like to sleep in our room, and so we have a big mattress on the floor, and there's bodies laid out everywhere. It's like a slumber party, and we try to enjoy that as much as possible. So our family home evenings aren't necessarily the traditional with the segments and the lesson, etc. It might be more just laying around under the covers and telling stories.
Being a head coach obviously takes a lot of time away, but you're still very family oriented. How well is Holly and the kids, are they adapting to you being the head coach?
Holly is amazing. She is the most remarkable woman that I've ever met, and one of the most remarkable people, and without her I couldn't do this job. And I'm gone so much, and she has to do so much that I think she has the tougher job, and so most of the credit I think goes to her, and I'm very lucky that we're together.
You had a rare Saturday at home then last week. What was your Saturday like?
Man, it was great.
The honey-do list, was it pretty long?
No, there wasn't really any. I remember at the end of the day we were sitting on the porch, and our comments kind of were, so this is what Saturday looks like for a lot of the world. And I liked it. And at some point I'll have Saturdays. But it was really refreshing and just a nice perspective to see what maybe a lot of the world does on Saturday, and kids are riding their bikes up and down the street, and their balls being kicked, and there's kick the can going down here, and there's teenagers going on dates driving down the street this way, and we're there just kind of watching it all, and our dogs were laying out on the grass, and I was like, man, this is a lot different than 64,000 in front of our fans.
Mm-hmm. How long do you anticipate that you'll be coaching?
I don't know. I've always used an internal gauge, and I'm very intuitive that way, and that's how I operate, and I'm going to coach as long as I believe I'm supposed to. It's not a calling. I'm not saying it's a calling. I do believe I have a purpose here. I do believe there's something I'm supposed to accomplish of significance at BYU, and I'll coach till I feel like that's been fulfilled, and or it's time for someone else to have an opportunity. So that's what I'm going to go off of, and I don't know when that is.
Still get a lot of gratification from the job?
I love to teach. I love to see the players grow and succeed, and I think coaching, and I've said this before, coaching isn't anything other than teaching, and the best teachers are those that love those they teach. And Christ was that way. He was the master teacher, and no one could have shown more love for those that he cared for than him. And I think coaches should be the same way. Not that I'm not intense, and not that I can't be critical and short-tempered, But I care a lot about these players, and I do want them to grow and succeed, and that's what I enjoy most.
Okay, thank you, Coach.
Thanks a lot.